Honolulu.
That's correct. In Honolulu. Yeah. When was that?
Wow, it's in the 80s. When I'm sorry, in the early 90s, when I was there from 89 to 91 or something.
Somewhere, yeah.
Okay, ready. I'm at any time.
You know, one question I was just fascinated. I know that you're in the forefront of thinking about that. You know, your cousins and many others pointed out. That's the question about world spirituality, future directions.
Eh?
Future directions.
Yes.
And I think you, more than anyone else, has been extremely prophetic.
Yes.
So then the question, you know, when the issue is raised, what actually comes to mind?
In the rightly understood pluralism.
Yes.
Not globalization in which we want to speak with words, but the meaning is you speak about the concept of globalization, which the old word was Catholicity. To be a Catholic,
to be ecumenical,
means to embrace the whole.
Yes.
But the moment that to embrace, I reduce it to the whole, to my own small little categories.
Yes.
And that's the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So the world spirit, I am writing also an essay on which I had hinted in my brief introduction. Religions need transformation.
Yes. Each one of them.
In fact, during the last 5,000 years, religions have been either locally or culturally limited.
Right. There's never
without the Greek heritage, you cannot understand the Christianity. Without the ways of thinking of the Indian ways, of which I can speak a little more, you cannot understand Hinduism.
Yes.
And make caricature.
Right.
Without understanding Islam, you cannot also with etc. So what we need now is a transformation of religion, not disrupting, not just destroying it. And here the word spirituality is a symbol, because this, I try to say simple words, the tripartite anthropology.
Yes.
Body,
and
the body is mine, it's not your body. And if my body suffers, you have sympathy, but your body doesn't suffer.
Right.
Psyche, soul, and in the soul we commune something in which we agree upon.
Yes.
And there is an intellectual world in which, through our psyche, we commune.
Right.
But the spirit, which is the third element, in the Jewish, in the Christian tradition, in the Indian tradition as well, is something which encompasses, it's not the word, englobes, one would even say, all of us. And in that, we have this spiritual, I play with the words all the time, understanding, which is not, the English word allows this one, understanding, to stand under the spell of the thing so understood. So you are not under the spell of the thing, you don't understand. You comprehend.
Yes.
It's
outside.
And then you dominate, etc., etc. And I think that world spirituality today is in this quandary of not destroying religions, but overcoming them in the sense of discovering not the common ground of spirituality, not common denominator.
Not the lowest common denominator.
Not the lowest common denominator. You made a hint in your presentation also. In the local, you can find the universal.
Yes.
If you deep down into the local,
yes.
in order to discover something on which you had no control, but you feel that it's in communion with you. The deeper I am a Catholic, the deeper I understand the atheist, or the Chinese, or whoever. And I think that is the challenge of the world spirituality. The very word world is ambivalent.
Yes.
Spirituality for the entire world, no.
I feel that if we use the word second axial age, if we use that expression, the second axial age.
Actually, yeah.
And it is a much more complex situation because of the interreligious communication.
Absolutely.
And also, I think in the Confucian tradition, especially in Mencius, there's this idea of digging the well.
Of singing.
Digging the well. Sink deeply into your own ground of being. And if you do that, if you dig deep enough, if you don't dig deep enough, you're buried in the hole.
Yes.
If you dig deep enough, there's a spring. The spring, the water that will flow.
Yes.
And at the same time, that deepening self-understanding, self-knowledge is globally significant, even though it's highly local, but it's...
provided that I deep enough also,
right,
in order, or dig deep enough, in order to understand your
yeah. But the
source.
the fascinating thing for me then is the relationship among body, heart and mind, soul, and the spirit.
Yes.
One position that is a kind of transcendent vision. You move beyond the body to the soul and to the spirit. But a more complex approach, and you use the word encompassing in the spiritual realm. But there's also one word which has gained a lot of currency in the modern times. It's embodiment.
Embodiment, yeah.
Now the question is a different conception of the body.
Yes.
The body is not given.
No.
The body is an attainment.
Yes.
And we don't own our bodies, we become our bodies.
Yes, absolutely.
And in that sense, like Chuck Long, he mentioned about the spirituality of matter.
Of course.
And then the whole Chinese notion of qi.
Qi.
No, qi. Qi as a word of vital.
Qi.
Yeah.
Qi.
Not qi. Qi as vital energy.
Yes.
And it is both material and spiritual. So I think you probably agree that the Cartesian dichotomies will have to be overcome.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I have written a couple of books now on this, and coined the word.
Yes.
The cosmotheandric intuition. Cosmos, theos, anthropos.
Oh.
Cosmotheandric. Which is the Trinitarian, and cosmos.
Yes.
And we are cosmos.
Yes.
We are theos. We are divine, and we are anthropos.
Yes.
And the anthropos means man is not just a rational animal.
Yes.
Something more.
Yes.
And
you go ahead.
When that is the word I have coined is cosmotheandric. Cosmos, theos, anthropos. And the three are three dimensions of reality. So God is not a God over there. I mean, this is simply too simple. God does not exist. And the idea of the Trinity, in the Christian way, is that God is not a substance. If God were a substance, we have three gods. Never allowed that.
So you mean, the contrast with substance is the process? Is process? Transformation?
Is relationship.
Relationality.
Relationship. Even in speaking in very orthodox Christian way, the Father is Father. Only when it's fathers. Without the fathering of the Father is not Father, it's nothingness. It's absolutely shunyata. Does not exist. It's not a substance. And the Son is Son only when it's begotten, not before it is begotten. Not that it's begotten and then goes its own ways. No. And we have lost this kind of relational thinking. And here's something which for the Chinese tradition I think is very important, which the Greek have lost, is harmony. Not just reductio ad unum, not intelligibility. You cannot understand two things at the same time. Either or. And that's dialectics. There is First that, and then to see the relation. No, the harmony is the two together.
Yes.
But the two together are not intelligible. You have to discover another thing, which is the heart, the sentiment, which you feel is a sense of beauty,
Yes.
which you feel that belongs together, but without chopping it off, one side, another side. And that's why I'm for the harmony of religions, not for your unification of them. And my only quandary with the word globalization is that you made it very nicely, that we tend to uniformize. And that's not what you mean, not what I
It's
mean.
homogenization.
Homogenization.
Yeah. For a while, modernization was conceived as homogenization, as convergence.
Yes.
But now we know, I think, so pluralism in this sense is certainly not, we move beyond exclusivism,
No.
but we just don't want to fall into inclusivism.
No.
We recognize pluralism,
Pluralism.
and pluralism involves not only the caring for the other or respect the other, but also consider the existence of the other as constitutive part
Yes.
of my self-understanding.
Yes.
I think you had pointed out that you have a vision about Trinity
Yes.
in terms of three religions, rather
Yes.
rather than simply
But religion is not, I mean, Trinity is not monotheism.
right. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is the great, and that's the Jews who are not silly and intelligent, condemned the Christ. Not because he was saying the Sabbath, no. Because he was really blasphemous. In the Christian idea, there is no God. And that's why the first Christians were considered atheists.
So when you said it's not monotheistic,
Yes.
you
That one God does not exist.
so in this particular sense, and Christology
Yes.
or Trinity
Yes.
can be understood in terms of three interrelated religious perspectives,
Not even
It-
three. Yes.
maybe more.
No. In a incapacity of bringing the things to one an intelligible single point. The three belong together. And not the one before the other and the other before the one. And for that you need to open up, to overcome your reason and open up to the spirit. And that's why the great divorce of modernity is to have divorce, the dichotomy between love and knowledge. Knowledge without love
Yes.
is calculus.
Yes.
Love without knowledge is sentimentalism.
Right.
The two belong together, but not a synthesis, but before the split.
So it's in a primordial
In a primal way,
existence.
exactly.
But you mentioned also specifically in terms of major religious traditions,
Yes.
they may have different either perceptions or perspective on the same primordial unity.
Exactly.
And you also mentioned that, I don't know, Hinduism or Christianity and other traditions can actually be understood
Yes.
in the same context of this
In-
primordial
Yes.
unity.
Understood not in the rational sense or rationalistic sense. It's an enrichment
Yes.
of your own perspective that I share your vision. And here again, the language helps us. If I see one thing, I see one thing, and you see another thing. But I can hear you saying something which the eye doesn't see. And this hearing that you are in harmony with, although I do not understand. You see, I cannot say, I understand you, but no, you don't understand me. I understand that you don't understand me. You can say that I understand that you don't understand me, but you can say I'm aware that you don't understand me. Not that I understand you're wrong. I understand you're wrong, yeah, I understand you're wrong, but I understand that you don't understand me. So I'm not irrational, but I try to see that reason is not the ultimate instance of humanness. That also was pointed out also today. But we move by something which is not just reason. Reason has a veto power.
But there's I think, a kind of sympathetic resonance.
Yes.
I think in a way, Jaeger has made the distinction between the Greek mode, which is very visual, and the Judaic, which is very audio. Because God never reveals himself or herself or itself.
Who?
God.
God, yes.
In sight, but it's always in sound.
Yes.
The voice. Therefore, the art of listening and becomes, in a sense, deeper.
Yes. Much deeper. I don't know the Chinese word, but the Japanese word for listening is kiku. Probably Chinese more or less the same. Kiku. And kiku, according to some experts, I'm not an expert in these things, has three ideograms. Hearing, seeing, and heart.
And it's also very revealing that the word sage in the Chinese character involves the ear.
Involves the ear, exactly.
And the mouth.
And the mouth.
So it's very much audio.
Yes.
Audio. And also Confucius said at the age of 40, I had no delusions.
Yes.
At the age of 50, I knew the mandate of heaven. But at the age of 60, my ears became obedient. In a sense, I became particularly receptive to the sounds from the outside in a kind of, without judgment, just allowing, in a receptivity, allowing the sounds to come.
To enrich me.
To enrich me, yes. And I think in that sense of maybe reason has something to do with visual. With visual.
With visual,
Whereas
with all the words, evidence.
Yes.
Evidence, videre,
right,
to see.
Right. But with the audio, it is kind of sympathetic resonance.
Yes.
Therefore, the idea of compassion.
Absolutely. And you know the sentence of Paul the Apostle.
Yes.
Pistis ec acuo. Latin is fides ex auditu. Faith comes of hearing, not of seeing, not of learning, of hearing. If you don't hear the inner voice, you're not a believer. If you just indoctrinated, that not believe.
I think in the modern times, because everybody's overwhelmed by all kinds of sounds and overwhelmed by information.
But you said information is not knowledge.
The art of listening is being undermined.
Totally.
And also the face-to-face.
The face-to-face.
And another thing is the wisdom of the elders. Because the transmission of wisdom in indigenous traditions, in other traditions, through audio perception.
Yes.
In China, often the children were instructed by their mother in terms of way of behavior.
Indeed.
In terms of exemplary teaching. And many of the mothers were illiterate and yet culturally extremely sophisticated through orality.
Yes.
So that dimension. But if we return to future directions, to the future directions of world spirituality, the first word you uttered is pluralism.
Yes.
Which means the coexistence of quite a few religious traditions.
Without synthesis.
Without synthesis.
A la Hegel.
Yeah. But you don't use the word fusion either.
No.
Not the fusion of horizons.
It's not the fusion of horizons. No. And that I think, I discussed with God about that. Yes. It's a share you want of horizons. But you have your horizon,
Yes.
and I share a little bit
So that's
part of your horizon.
overlapping
A
consensus.
certain level of overlapping consensus. But that's why I make this fundamental distinction between faith and belief. Everybody has faith. The distinction of the human being with all the other animal species, as the man has faith, the animals have awareness, many other things. But not faith. Faith is this existential openness. Punto basta. To transcendence, to immanence, to mystery, to the unknown. Then, because we are rational beings, we try to interpret that kind of thing and that belief. Beliefs are many. Faith is only one.
And is faith in this sense shared by all religious traditions?
And by atheists as well.
Atheists. And that sense of faith is not faith in radical otherness.
No.
It's a faith as a way of life.
Absolutely. It manifests itself in the way I live. In that different way. Faith is not the interpretation of faith. My interpretation and understanding of faith, that is belief. Beliefs are many, contradictory. But faith is only one. Faith does not belongs to another category. It's not faith in. It's simply faith.
When you say it's not faith in, are you assuming there's no object of faith?
No object of faith. That's
So-
idolatry. That's
That's
idolatry.
ideology.
No,
Idolatry.
idolatry.
And what is the relationship between faith and the dialogical dialogue?
Yes. In faith, I cannot understand myself. Faith is, I try to understand my faith, that my belief. My belief is the conceptualization or the interpretation, rather, of what I somewhat discover, have faith on. In English, you cannot say the verb faith is belief, but that's a grammatical imperfection. When I try to understand my belief, not my faith, I word it out with a belief. That's my belief.
That's the conceptualization.
The
Or my understanding of
Faith.
faith
And
through my own conceptualization.
exactly. And this is, philosophically speaking, a transcendental relationship. You cannot have faith without a belief. But my belief is not your belief. And in my belief, we share, all my contingency and all my cultural background helps me to express my belief, but I cannot absolutize my faith. And then you said pluralism. I said the very word of pluralism is pluralistic. So we cannot have one single interpretation of pluralism. Pluralism is not plurality.
Right.
It's not tolerance. That kind of thing. No. It's more than that. Is the, in my way of speaking, is the awareness of our contingency. I'm not absolute. I'm not the absolute. I don't have even a direct connection with the absolute. The absolute overwhelms me, and I try to somewhat to react to it. And here's where the more feminine attitude enters into the picture. And then I do not absolutize my beliefs. I simply accept and try to enrich myself through your beliefs, or to contradict you even. And in this play with each one another. And I discovered that what I did believe is not the total thing. Although for me, it helps. But I will not impose that on you.
And then the link to pluralism is the awareness or the recognition. There's so many different conceptualizations of faith through beliefs.
Exactly.
And yet, since faith is deeper and more mysterious, you can never fully comprehend.
It's sure mystery.
And so the dialogical dialogue among
yeah.
different religious traditions.
Exactly. And the dialogical dialogue is among persons, not among ideas. So I listen to you, I try to learn from you, I try to say that you're wrong, but you are you, it's only wrong. And in that sense, we enter into communion, which is deeper than the intellectual communion.
Yes. But that personal connection, personal communication, in terms of the dialogical dialogue, can that be expanded to mean into inter-civilizational?
Oh yes.
Right. Or my sense is that the personal dialogues that happen almost on a daily basis,
Yes.
and the so-called dialogue among civilizations, and there are many intermediary structures.
Absolutely.
Regional,
yes.
provincial, and so forth. So we can think about, in terms of future directions, we can think about in a pluralistic world,
Yes.
Dialogue, hopefully genuine dialogue, which is not just tolerance, but recognition, mutual learning, and celebration of the other, and continuous.
And it enriches me.
And the big question there is the celebration of the other.
Yes.
Now, in many religious traditions, partly because of exclusivism, but also partly because of a strong sense of identity. And to say, I think it related to the question of convergence.
Yeah.
To say, I enjoy so much of the bliss.
Of the?
Bliss.
Bliss.
Of
Yes.
my religion.
Yes.
And I need to share with others.
Yes.
And that urge to share is related to sometimes implicit, sometimes explicit, that what I have is so unique that I want to share, and in such a way that someone who, at least on the surface, fails
Yes.
to take part in the
There's a
share.
Spanish saying that says, hay amores que matan. There are loves which kill.
I see. Absolutely.
Well, that's what an overwhelming mother
Sure.
to the children
Suffocated.
suffocated.
But let's say it's not that kind. It's not
Right,
love that
right.
kills, but it's a genuine care.
Yes.
The genuine care is to say they are partial, sometimes even distorted appreciation of my belief, which is my conceptualization.
Yeah. And I would like you to share with me,
Yes.
but not to impose it on me.
Pluralism is not relativism.
It's not, no, absolutely not. It's relationality. The relationality of I call it relativity, not relativism.
What's the difference?
Relativism is one thing is like the other.
Sure.
And relativism
There's
is
no judgment.
Is no judgment, and it's against the contradiction in itself. Is anything is like the other, then no, but you are saying that it's also like the other, and then that's wrong. You don't say anything. Relativity is the awareness that anything I say is related to my context. And I have a third, you want to be my the whole hermeneutical key. There's a third element for hermeneutics. To know the text, whatever it is. You can know the text without the context. Then you have to go to university and study all about the context. But still, a third thing is missing. The pretext. What is the pretext which led you to say what you say? that
it's
you want.
It's a pretext. Is that also pre-understanding? Or?
No. Pretext is entering into another level of understanding.
You mean after context?
After context, I have to know you. Your pretext is that, but it can be very noble or very low. Your vanity. Your pretext here is, or your pretext can be any other. In order to know the pretext, I have to know you as a person, not you as a machine of ideas.
You use the term pretext.
As pretext.
Not pretext. Normally gives the sense of before text.
No, that's pretext, but it's pretension. That is more Latin than the.
Right.
The pretext is that which I pretend of what that will be the purpose. That would be the real meaning of the pretext, in the sense of that's more of the old Latin word pretexto. It's not before the text, but it's the purpose I have.
To go through the contextualization of the situation, to have a better understanding.
The understanding of the pretext can be very psychological. It's just that you want to overwhelm me, you want to whatever it is. And I can only know the pretext if I know your intentions. In order to know your intentions, I have to know you. It's not what you say. You have mind in order to.
I've been thinking about a kind of dialogical relationship.
Yes.
Like the two persons.
Two persons, yes.
First, recognition, which means ability to recognize someone.
Yes.
Then through respect and mutual learning.
Yes.
And there's a mutual benefit involved. I cannot understand that. I cannot understand you if you do not want to be understood.
Absolutely.
There's no way that.
There's no way.
So there has to be a two-way traffic.
Yes.
And also the two-way traffic is not only at the behavioral,
No.
or even in the belief level, but in the level of the encountering of shared faith.
On the intellectual level.
Yes.
Yes.
But it's I think that intellectual understanding is also embodied in the experiential understanding.
Yes.
And I think if we use that as a way of thinking, normally what we do is to abstract from the concrete and look at sort of formulas or abstract universalism, or we become so much obsessed with our own identity.
I don't
not
exactly. I don't know Chinese, but I know some other languages. In English you say thinking, but in all the Latin languages you say pensare. And pensare means to wait, pesar, the love of a thing has to go to its proper place. That is to think. To weigh how that idea wants to go to its proper place.
So implicit in thinking is a very creative act.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Creative act. One thing I have always bothered, I've been thinking that I think about you often in terms of this idea, which on the surface is so different from the kind of Christian conception that I'm aware of. That notion is about a human being in reference to, say, in the Chinese word heaven. We before we define what heaven is, almost may not be able to define it. The idea is that it's omnipresent and omniscient, but not omnipotent.
You know that omnipotent
Yes.
is a wrong translation. Even in the Catholic Creed, it's omnipotence, translation of the Greek pantokrator, in a kind of an all-powerful king or monarch.
Sure.
It's not that he can do anything he likes, but he has any enormous power. Pantocrator, the Kratos, the strength is overwhelming. And even St. Jerome translated the New Testament into Latin, is omnia potent. He can't do anything what he likes. Not he can do, not omnipotent.
So the notion about partnership.
What?
Partnership.
Partnership, yes.
The notion about the kind of joint effort. One notion is that the human is aesthetically attracted to the creation, to the world.
Absolutely.
And that aesthetic attraction links to a particular, maybe, inner purpose.
Yes, because I'm part of it. That's the cosmodentity. I'm part of it. The cosmos is not a foreign body in me. I'm also cosmos.
So you have a sense of situated in it as home.
Yes.
You know, this very powerful Confucian thinker by the name of Zhang Zai.
Who?
Zhang Zai.
Yeah, Zhang Zai. Yes.
Heaven is my father,
yes.
earth is my mother. Even such a small creature of I finds intimacy in its unit. So that conception is so different from the existential tradition of Heidegger's notion about throwing into the world.
Yes.
And Sartre's notion about alienation.
Yes.
It's very different take on the person. I use the term anthropocosmic, but I think
yes.
Yeah, but I think the missing part
is
theanthropocosmic.
Yeah.
Now the theo, because atheism, which is related to the theo.
Of course. Today, sociologically speaking, one of the most powerful religions is atheism, because most of the so-called believers have made of God an idol.
Yes.
Absolutely an idol. That God does not exist. And that was also the Christian intuition of Christ, Jesus. God, that's why he was condemned as it's famous, because he was not a monotheist.
Now, in this particular sense, with pluralism, with the dialogical dialogue, and with theological, cosmological, and anthropological vision fused into one, using your particular terminology. And the future direction, let's say, the future direction of world spirituality is not synthesis. Not synthesis.
Not synthesis. Not at all.
It's a continuous dialogue. It's the unfolding.
It's unfolding. That I am not complete without you, and without the unknown, without the other. You know I'm sorry not to know Chinese, but the Latin word for other. In Latin, there are two words for other, and in the English and vernacular languages, they are confused. The other can mean the alius, the other, the foreigner, the strange, or can mean the alter.
Outside the self.
Is the altera pars, the other side of me.
Yes.
The alter is the other side, unknown to me, but the other part of me.
Without encountering this dimension of my existence that's forever elusive.
Yes.
So I at least for my own reflexivity and self-realization, I need the presence of
In that the Trinity. God is not God without the other. Inside the so-called Trinity, or without creation.
That sense of the other is the created world, or the other is the human.
Well, as I don't believe in creation.
You don't. No, I think one.
I believe in the Trinity, but that's.
But creation, like creating something ex nihilo.
Well, no, that is even historically biased,
right.
Because the ex nihilo came out of a dialogue with Plato. Plato believed that there is a demiurgos, a demiurge, creating, he used this word, the world out of a primal matter.
Yes.
And he said, no,
It's
without
not.
the primal,
It's not.
without the primal, so without anything. And from here came ex nihilo. But ex nihilo doesn't mean of nothing, nothing comes. And that's why Genesis 1:1, to speak Christianly, has to be completed by John 1:3. Everything through him has come out to be. Again, it has emerged to be into being. So that's why the creation is not an appendix of God. God is intrinsically created. If you are to substantialize God.
So creativity
is a sharing in this unfolding of the universe.
and that sense of sharing, if not diametrically opposed, it's radically different from the sense of totally self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient.
Totally self-sufficient.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But the sharing, if you say totally self-sufficient, the sharing, the existence of the other, and the importance of the other for one's self-understanding, and how does that work?
Because the other is not the other in the sense of alius, in the
But
sense
the
of
other
alter,
side of the self.
the other side of the self. And the self is not the self in contraposition
To the other.
to the other. We belong together. And the radical unity is not unity, it's harmony.
Yes.
The I and the thou. The thou is not the other. In language, it's not the he or she. The he or she may be the other. The thou is neither you nor he or she. It's a part of, and that's the mystery of love. And
You
that's
don't use the word between. Is it a between?
take what?
Between.
Between.
Between the
Yes,
relational in the
yes,
sense
yes.
of between.
I use and that's and I try to put that for the Christians. There's a sentence of Luke: the kingdom of God is, the Greek says, entos. The more mystically oriented translation say, the kingdom of God is within you.
Yes.
The more the new theology of the liberation said the kingdom of God is among you. Neither
So
nor.
involving more.
The kingdom of God is between you. This is different. Between is between she and you, when the day is love. Between is between us. Not within intimism. I alone, and here it is. Not among the kind of sociological thing, but between us. And for the between, which is it's a Japanese word for between, it's also probably Chinese. I knew it very well before. The in between. What is it? Huh? Anita? No.
No, not Anita.
I knew it in Japanese, I don't remember now in Chinese.
The Chinese has the notion of relation as,
Well, yes.
As jian, as in is the space.
Well,
Yeah,
indeed.
it's the space.
And the between, we created the between.
There's also, one term I feel uneasy about, but the term is complexification. This is
Complexification.
complexification. This is maybe Terra de Chardin.
Yes.
That notion is to certainly pluralism.
Yeah.
Certainly, but complexification is meaning the relationship is still the center to center.
Yes.
It's not.
But my gut's reaction to that is that complication is to complications.
Yes.
Implies that they deal with the unity. And no, for me, the given is precisely the relationship. That's the primordial thing. It's not that God was alone and then so the moment created the world. God, world, and man are coextensive.
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 So the idea of partnership.
Exactly, of partnership.
Can human beings in this sense be considered in some, of course, limited sense, as co-creators? As co-creators.
As co-creators. And that St. Paul says that. In this very word, we are co-creators.
St. Paul where?
In the Epistle to the Romans.
I see. Uh-huh. So this, this is very much close to my heart about this. Yeah.
We're co-creators. And that's the dignity of any human being. That we are of infinite value. So that's why you are not, here's my philosophical criticism of democracy. Quantity is important, but it's not ultimately definitive. I mean, 5 is more than 6, or it's less than 6. But why truth or beauty should be with the 5, not with the 6, not with the 5. So our ways of thinking are so quantified.
Yes.
That we think that the majority is a technical way by deciding very many things, but has no value at all. The number, the quantity is not the quality, and the quality is not even the thing. And that's why this kind of mixture of cultures will help us to overcome our own limitations.
And I use the expression, I don't know how you react to that, as each religious leader in one tradition will have to address 2 very different situations. One is within the faith community, and the language is familiar because of the books or because of the traditions. But there's another language of facing the challenge of the human condition.
Absolutely.
So a religious leader in some way has to be a public intellectual. Last time, I don't know.
Has to be, totally.
And it is possible, I don't know, in your sense, that the cosmological, theological, and anthropological vision is to think that a human being can never be fully comprehended in the anthropological context, let alone anthropocentric context.
Never.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I have this kind of thing about which I laugh at myself. I have been engaged, and I'm still now, in a lot of what you call spiritual direction, helping people to find. And I sometimes discover myself, saying A to my first visit, and saying B, just the opposite to the other one. But what you have said, well, yes, it has to be tailored for you. And I cannot reduce it to just intelligibility. The doctrine says that, and I repeat it here, and I repeat it there. If I am a human being, just I say one thing here, and a totally different thing there. Because it's relationship. And you need to hear that. And the other person needs to hear just the opposite. Dialectic is the opposite, but it's what?
But it's not at all a strategy. It is simply a spontaneous response.
To me comes to me that I must am startled. How do you say that? How have you dared to say this kind of thing? Yes, I did.
The appropriateness.
The appropriateness, which is to see the proprium, the specificity of yours. What in South India we say the meeting of the eye.
That's terrific. I changed the subject a little bit.
Yeah,
I know that you and I talked very extensively about the possibility to revitalize that conversation on the world spirituality, future directions. World spirituality, future directions. Remember, we have a volume in mind.
Yes.
And so your active participation and leadership is very important for this. We may have to all come to to Barcelona
Well,
or somewhere. But I think
it's time I'm still alive.
I think it would be very nice. We want to organize soon. Very
Okay.
nice.
Yes.
You remember we did it in Honolulu.
In Honolulu.
We did it earlier.
Yeah.
And it's been going on a long time. I think now I at least have a sense of urgency. The time is right to do something.
Are you meeting Ewart still, or you?
This time I probably will only see him very briefly on the 7th.
Because you're leaving on the 7th.
Yeah, but I leave on the 8th. I leave on the 8th for Florence.
For Florence.
Yeah. But I think it would be nice. I talked to you too.
Yes.
But if you are agreeable, and if we can find 2 other people, if the 5 of us as a core, we should be able to get a chance to.
When we have the meeting with you?
Or probably not this time. I don't know whether.
No, not this time. No.
I don't know your schedule now. Will you be here on the 7th?
I'm here on the 7th.
On the 7th? If you're here on the 7th, we come back from Massera.
From Barcelona, from Montserrat.
From Massera. Maybe we do that when we come back. We're coming back on the 7th.
Yes,
Yeah.
which is the inauguration.
Yeah.
On the 7th at 5 p.m.
5 p.m.
is the inauguration.
Inauguration. Now, will we come back a little bit early that night or not?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, wait.
And another possibility, we can have breakfast on the 8th. Will you be here on the 8th?
No, on the 8th. I'm not here. On the 7th.